We spoke to IDA Chairman Rob Campbell during the Italian Championships in San Remo to find out more about what's coming up in 2010 for the International Dragon Association.
This is pretty much the end of this new winter series that's now running down here on the Mediterranean. How is that working out for the Dragon
Well,
Fleet?
that's absolutely right. The winter series has been the biggest growth section, I would guess, of the European Dragon Circuit over the last 4 or 5 years. It started off in Cannes, the south of France, about 5 years ago, and they've slowly developed a circuit that's got bigger and bigger and bigger. And people have been racing in Cannes and Monaco and now here in San Remo, and that's why we have so many boats from so many different countries. At the same time, similar circuits also been developing in Cascais in Portugal. And again, I think it's in its 3rd year. Every year there's more and more boats, and this year they had 35 boats at their last major regatta. So the growth of the winter series is just amazing. People looking for the sun as well as the good sailing, I guess. And both Cascais, of course, is famous for having some of the best sailing waters in all of Europe, some of the best winds. And obviously the Mediterranean as well. It's just a wonderful place to be in the middle of winter.
Fantastic. And do you feel that the growth with these winter events is helping with the summer events? We've got some big events coming up this summer. How do you see those coming together at the moment?
Well, I think one of the things that I have found amazing over the last couple of years in the Dragon world is how we seem to have been almost recession-proof. We were very nervous when the banks got into trouble and all that sort of thing, but the IDA regattas and all the major regattas throughout Europe and indeed through the rest of the world continue to flourish. Numbers are going up and up and up. In fact, last October we had our European Championships in Saint-Tropez. We had a record entry of 106 boats, and we could have had a lot more if they'd been able to take us. So partly the winter circuits, maybe a lot of other issues, but generally the Dragon Fleet is absolutely growing.
It's great news.
Immensely at the moment.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what are this summer's principal events here in Europe, and what's coming up ahead of us?
Well, the first major IDA event is the European Championships, which for the first time ever had taken place in a lake in Eastern Europe, Lake Balaton in Hungary. They already have a very good entry, and it's during the 2nd week in June, and I would guess we'll have 60 or 70 boats there. Lake Balaton is a massive lake. I will be going, but I have no idea exactly what it's like because I've never been to Hungary before. I'm looking forward to it with great anticipation, as I'm sure lots of the rest of the competitors. Our other events, in August we have our Gold Cup, which of course is always the biggest festival of sailing for the Dragon Fleet, and that's in Marstrand in Sweden near Gothenburg. And again, I suspect we'll have a fleet of 80 to 90 boats. That should be a wonderful event. And then followed by next January, our Worlds, this time around, are in the Southern Hemisphere, in Melbourne in Australia. That's in Port Phillip Bay. I was actually down there myself in January this year, and I went to the host yacht club, the Royal Brighton Yacht Club, and I have to say the venue is absolutely spectacular. They have wonderful winds, the water is crystal blue, and I couldn't speak more highly of it. I think it's the most fantastic place to be, and I hope lots of the Dragon sailors will take a once in a lifetime possibly opportunity to visit Australia and take their Dragon down there. One of the interesting developments starting in 2009 is the introduction of Corinthian Trophies in some of our major events. For at least the last decade, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of conversation about the introduction of professionals into our fleet. A lot of people favour them because, of course, they bring our game forward, make us more competitive. Some people feel it makes the game a little bit uneven, perhaps less keen. So we're introducing Corinthian Trophies for the top amateur. We have one in the Gold Cup this year, which will be the very first time, and we also have one being introduced for the Worlds in Melbourne. So I hope that's a really good innovation from the IDA.
Fantastic. So in order to be included in the Corinthian competitions, presumably do the crews need to register with the ISAF system?
That's absolutely correct, yes. Everybody has to register. All three crew, helmsman and two crew, or three crew in the event, in the case of 4 people in a boat, have to be category 1 under the ISAF system. And it's very clear, for those of you who haven't done it, you just go onto the ISAF website. It's a 5, maybe a 10-minute job to go through a series of questions and get yourself categorised. It becomes very clear, very precise, and I recommend everyone to do it. I did it 18 months ago, was amazed how easy it was. I'm glad to say I'm category 1.
Well, and you were the first Corinthian winner of the Edinburgh Cup as well, so congratulations on that as well, Rob.
To my knowledge, the very first Corinthian trophy ever donated around the world was the Edinburgh Cup last year in 2009, and I'm very pleased to say I won that.
Well, wonderful. We'll look forward to seeing how the Corinthian Trophy develops, and also to some very exciting sailing through this summer and next winter in Australia.
Yes, indeed.
So thank you for your time, Rob.
For further details of the events mentioned in this interview, please visit www.intdragon.org.